1969 Dodge Charger. Many of you may know this car as the car from Dukes of Hazzard. Of course, I as well grew up watching that show. Different paint job, of course. Lots of cars from the late 60s were pretty amazing machines for the time, especially if you're into muscle cars. This one actually reminds me a lot of the car that my father had when I was growing up, which was a 1969 Malibu. And it also had this black top, like this model here does. The cool thing about having a car like this with an engine this big was that even when you sat in it and just revved the engine sitting still, the entire car would move like that. Just with each time you would touch the engine, it would rotate the car just slightly sitting still like this. My memories of watching Dukes of Hazzard are pretty hazy at this point. Really the only thing I remember about that show was this car being in the air, jumping over rivers or cop cars or whatever. And obviously, being a guy, I also remember the Daisy Dukes character. Yeah. I'm sure that was quite an object of fantasy when I was a boy. So anyway. Was it Barbara Bach who played her? Yeah. Gotta love the feathered hair and so forth. But yeah, she was quite a woman. Anyway, this model's pretty nice. It's another one of the cars that I was given as a gift from a friend of mine from my last job. It's kind of neat that the doors open up. And also the hood, which takes a little bit of effort to get open, but there you are. You might notice the composition of the shot is a little different than what I usually do. I suppose if you use your imagination, maybe you can imagine that this car is sitting on the beach and we have nice water back here or something, rather than what's essentially a yoga mat on the carpet. But anyway, some of you fanatics of muscle cars and also the late 60s would probably also know that a similar car to this was driven by the baddies in Bullitt, definitely one of the most memorable car chases that's ever been filmed so far, and being filmed in San Francisco on the streets with, shall we say, quite extreme elevation changes. Definitely made the chase scenes quite interesting. I think film geeks have as much fun with the continuity errors as they do with the actual chase. But anyway, that was actually a Dodge Charger that was 1 year older than this one. Obviously, Bullet came out in 1968. But I would say most car fans have an appreciation for Steve McQueen. The fact that he actually was a real, or he became a real race driver, mostly from a couple of years later when he was filming Le Mans. And in that movie, it was more about driving a machine that's quite a bit more high-tech than this was, at least at the time, which would be I think it was a Porsche 908. Anyway, but obviously Le Mans has its following, but I think Bullet, had some very amazing sequences. That car chase had lots of amazing action in it. And the stunt driver who actually drove this car, the Dodge Charger, rather than McQueen's Mustang, the guy who played the baddie character, who was driving the car, he actually is a stunt driver. And so he did his own driving, and some of the accidental things that happened during the chase were interesting enough that they just left it in the film. Things like colliding with another car and even destroying a camera rig in the process. Anyway. Most of the games I've played so far that have simulator of this kind of car, definitely you find out real quick that they're not easy to drive at high speed. They're pretty soft and obviously big, so they can be a little difficult to handle, especially if you start sliding around. And they don't exactly turn corners as well as you probably want them to. So the fact that they could film a high-speed chase in this car just shows the driver really knew what he was doing. But I definitely had many fun times when I was driving my father's Malibu. It's quite an experience to drive a muscle car, just for the sheer power of it. So it's something that is fun to do at some point in your life. Maybe some of you might actually do it every day. So alright, well, I'm going to call that one done. I hope you've been enjoying all these brushing videos, and maybe one of these days I'll actually get a camera where it picks up the nice brushing noise. But I've recently gone over 100 subscribers, and I really have to say thank you. You know, my deep, sincere thanks for all of you who've been watching and subscribing and leaving comments. I really, really appreciate it. And I also appreciate those of you who are also making videos. And I hope we're all giving each other some good ideas, and more than that, just some great relaxation. So, anyway, once again, thank you for watching.